Have you ever noticed how, in every festival, the heart of the celebration quietly beats in the kitchen? Long before lights, loudspeakers, or even store-bought decorations, it was food that gathered families, bound communities, and turned ordinary days into extraordinary moments. Think of Diwali without sweets, Eid without biryani, Christmas without fragrant cakes, Pongal without steaming rice cooked in clay pots. Each festival carries a menu, not random dishes, but carefully chosen foods layered with symbolism, tradition, and memory. But here's a question we rarely ask. What did our ancestors really eat during these festivals? What dishes graced their plates before the age of refined sugar, processed flours, and factory-made oils? How were flavors tied to seasons, rituals, and nature itself? Today, let's travel back in time, into ancestral kitchens glowing with oil lamps, spices grinding under stone mortars, grains slow-cooked over fire, and stories whispered as food simmered. This is a journey into festivals on a plate, a rediscovery of what our ancestors truly ate during celebrations, and why these forgotten dishes still matter to us today. Part 1. The role of food in celebration. Every culture has celebrated life with food. But festivals were not just about indulgence, they were about harmony. Our ancestors believed that the body, the season, and the divine were all interconnected. Food at festivals was designed not only to delight the tongue, but to heal, to purify, to symbolize. Seasonal alignment. Festivals were deliberately placed in the calendar. Harvest festivals like Pongal, Lohri, and sankranti aligned with winter's end and the sun's northward journey. Foods were rich, sesame, jaggery, ghee, warming ingredients for cold weather. Offerings to deities. The first portion of festive food was always given to gods or nature spirits. Prasad was not just symbolic. It was believed that by offering first, we received abundance later. Community bonding. Food was always shared. Neighbors exchanged sweets during Diwali, date-filled mamuls during Eid, plum cakes during Christmas. The act of sharing was the true feast. Our ancestors, unlike us, didn't see festive food as cheat meals. They saw them as sacred, medicinal, seasonal, and deeply communal.
Part 2. Diwali, lights, sweets, and seasonal balance. When we think of Diwali today, images of laddoos, barfis, and gulab jamun flood the mind. But historically, our ancestors' Diwali table looked slightly different. Sugar alternatives. Refined sugar was rare. Instead, sweets were made with jaggery, honey, and dried fruits. Til laddoos made with sesame and jaggery not only satisfied the sweet tooth, but also warmed the body and strengthened bones in early winter. Flour choices. Whole wheat, rice flour, and millet flours dominated. Today's maida-based treats were less common. Chirote, flaky fried sweets, were made with atta. Symbolism. Foods with golden hues like kesar milk, saffron rice, or jaggery-based sweets symbolized prosperity and the glow of light. And interestingly, Diwali was not only about sweets. In some regions, savory snacks like chakli, poha chiuda, and spicy save were prepared to balance indulgence. The reason? Ayurveda always emphasized balance. Sweetness was paired with spice to keep digestion steady.
Part 3. Eid, a feast of togetherness. Eid is synonymous with feasting after fasting. But the way our ancestors cooked Eid meals reveals so much about cultural memory. Meat dishes with meaning. Biryani, korma, and kebabs were prepared, but always with respect for the animals sacrificed during Eid al-Adha. Bones were boiled for broth, organs were cooked into curries, and nothing went to waste. This was food as gratitude, not excess. Dates and milk. The Prophet's tradition of breaking fast with dates carried forward into Eid celebrations. Dates weren't just food, they were medicine. providing instant energy and minerals after a month of restraint. Sweet dishes. Sivayan care, made with roasted vermicelli, milk, and dry fruits, became iconic. In earlier times, jaggery often replaced sugar, lending an earthy richness. Most importantly, Eid food was about sharing. Wealthy families cooked large quantities, not for themselves alone, but for distributing to neighbors, workers, and the poor. This practice of barakat, blessing in sharing, was the true flavor of Eid. Part 4. Christmas, cakes, breads, and warmth. In India, Christmas carries a unique flavor. European traditions meeting local ingredients. Plum cake origins. Long before commercial bakeries, families would soak dry fruits in rum or wine weeks in advance. The cakes were baked in clay ovens or over coal. Jaggery or palm sugar was often used in place of refined sugar. Spices of celebration. Cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove became the Christmas spices. Interestingly, these were native to the East, but became central to European Christmas through colonial trade. Regional variations. In Kerala, appam and stew often graced the Christmas table. In Goa, rich bibinka, a multi-layered coconut and egg dessert, became festive pride. Christmas food was not just about feasting, it was about warmth in the cold season. Rich cakes, spiced wines, and hearty stews were designed to keep the body comfortable through winter.
Part 5. Harvest festivals. Pongal, Lohri, and Makar Sankranti. If there was ever a direct link between plate and planet, it was harvest festivals. Pongal in Tamil Nadu, the dish pongal itself, rice boiled with milk and jaggery until it overflows, symbolized abundance. Families cooked it in new clay pots under the open sun, offering the first spoon to Surya, the sun god. Lohri in Punjab, the cold of January was battled with til laddoos, gajak, and revri. Sesame provided heat, jaggery gave energy, and together they built immunity. Makar Sankranti across India, from Puran Poli in Maharashtra to Patishapta in Bengal, coconut-stuffed rice crepes, every region had its own dish. What united them was the use of jaggery, sesame, and freshly harvested grains. Our ancestors knew festivals weren't random. They were seasonal prescriptions disguised as feasts. Part 6. Regional treasures we've forgotten. Beyond the mainstream festivals, there were hidden gems. Onam in Kerala, the Onam Sadhya, served on banana leaves, was once 64 dishes strong. From avial vegetable curry to payasam, sweet pudding, it was a rainbow of flavors, celebrating harvest with vegetarian abundance. Bihu in Assam, dishes like pitha, rice cakes with sesame filling, and doi honor both agriculture and fertility. Navratri, in earlier times, fasting foods were not packaged sabudana chips. Instead, they were nutrient-rich, millets, fruits, nuts, keeping the body light and the mind sharp. Every region had its festival plate, a coded message about climate, soil, harvest, and health.
Part 7. The science behind festive foods. If you look closely, festive foods were ancestral nutrition science at work. Sesame and jaggery in winter, calcium, iron, healthy fats, keeping joints warm and energy steady. Milk, rice, and ghee in summer festivals, cooling, nourishing, calming the body. Fermented foods in monsoon celebrations. Idlis, dosas, or even pickled sides, keeping gut bacteria healthy during damp weather. Festivals ensured that we ate with rhythm, not randomness. Our ancestors designed feasts not to harm, but to heal.
Part 8. What we lost and what we can bring back. Today our festival plates look very different. Packaged sweets, refined flour snacks, artificial colors and deep-fried indulgence dominate. In chasing convenience, we've forgotten the wisdom behind the plate. But revival is possible. Replace refined sugar with jaggery or dates in festive sweets. Celebrate regional dishes. Make Puran Poli, Pongal or Bibinka alongside cakes and chocolates. Cook one dish the traditional way, on firewood, in clay, or with stone-ground spices to taste what food truly meant. Share, because festivals were never about private indulgence, but about community abundance. Food is memory. When we taste Pongal, we aren't just eating rice, we are tasting the prayers of farmers who sowed seeds centuries ago. When we bite into a sesame laddu, we're chewing the wisdom of ancestors who knew how to keep the body warm in winter. When we cut a Christmas cake, we are cutting into centuries of trade, migration, and adaptation. Festivals are not just dates on the calendar, they are recipes for living, teaching us how to honor the seasons, the soil, the community, and the divine. So the next time a festival comes, pause before tearing open a packet of store-bought sweets. Ask yourself, what did my grandmother eat? What did her grandmother prepare? And what can I bring back to keep the chain unbroken? Because when we revive ancestral food, we aren't just filling our plates. We are lighting lamps of memory, stirring pots of healing, and tasting a history that still belongs to us. This was Dress, Dine, and Shine. If you enjoyed traveling back to the kitchens of our ancestors, don't forget to subscribe, share, and carry these flavors forward into your own celebrations. After all, every festival begins on a plate.